Sekiro was a huge departure from what From Software, under the direction of this Sex Panther, had established as its brand over the past 10 years. But despite featuring a non-player created character and a much more upfront story that is driven by character conversation and cutscenes, this is still very much a From Software game. It has just about everything you'd expect from a typical Souls game. The world is awe-inspiring, and the lore adds depth to the setting while leaving much unanswered. Like, what's with this giant rope man, and why does he have a penis? And does he use his rope dick to impregnate giant rope women and make giant rope babies? These are questions not even VaatiVidya has the answers to. And just like Miyazaki's other games, critics wouldn't shut the fuck up about how hard it is. The bosses are brutal but well designed and fair. So when you finally figure out their attack patterns and start becoming the bully, you end up feeling like this. And once again, the NPCs are so colorful and interesting. It's only From Software games that have me doing side objectives because I'm interested in who these people are and where they'll end up. And for what's now a second time since Miyazaki joined the studio, they have delivered a combat system that is revolutionary. It's so sick and flashy. The posture system is just brilliant. It's like a tug of war, and you have all these different ways you can use items and ninja tools and combat arts to build up enemy posture. And on top of that, it has the most cinematic sword combat ever. When you watch an Akira Kurosawa movie or a samurai anime, they're not cutting each other up 1,000 times until one runs out of health and dies. They're clashing blades until someone slips up and then is delivered a lethal blow. It's really no wonder that Respawn ripped off the posture system so hard. It's perfect for any sword game trying to be cinematic or maintain a level of realism. And objectively speaking, Sekiro is way more enjoyable than the Souls games. They removed all of the niche things about those games that appealed to masochists, like the gauntlets you had to run through just to get to a boss, or adding so many hidden traps that you develop crippling paranoia.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
And if I was rating this game solely based on gameplay and the world and the side characters, it would get a big ol' S. But unfortunately, much like Miyazaki's other games, the main character is a lifeless husk, lacking in any real personality. And this is a problem because this now upfront narrative is supposed to be driven by Wolf's determination to protect and serve Kuro, but we aren't given anything to make this determination believable. Even after 7 playthroughs, I cannot for the life of me find an answer to this question. Throughout the story, we are given many reasons to want to root for Kuro. He's selfless, earnest, and in this world with these characters corrupted by their search for immortality, Kuro, a 12-year-old boy, has the wisdom to see that the search for this power is meaningless, and recognizes his own immortality as something not meant to be wielded by man. But giving the player reasons to root for a character is not the same as showing that another character is rooting for them, let alone willing to endure the suffering of 1,000 deaths for them. The only explanation we are given for why Wolf is willing to take giant monkey turds to the face is that he has this absurd amount of dedication to the Shinobi Iron Code. And that's established by the fact that Owl saved him and offered him shelter when Wolf had nowhere else to turn. Wolf clearly cares about Owl, and we're shown how strongly he believes in the code that was drilled into him. That is, until he defies it and then kills him to defend Kuro. The player has obvious reasons to make this choice, but it's hard to see why Wolf would. In an interview with Game Informer, Miyazaki claimed that Wolf's presence, personality, and history would be a key part of the story, and From Software's marketing manager talked to Game Informer about the importance of Kuro and Wolf's relationship, but they only halfway committed to these ideas, resulting in an inconsistent main character with hardly any personality. Some of the dialogue options in this game can give you completely conflicting ideas of where Wolf's head is at. Especially this one where Wolf gets to choose between finding a path to save Kuro or killing him without even telling him about the option. And it's because of this half-assed commitment that Wolf is so lacking. We're led to believe that he would do anything for Kuro, but not only are we not given any background as to why he cares so deeply for him, but we're sort of shown the opposite with how Wolf was just sitting there broken in the prologue for 3 years, when really all he had to do was walk out of that cave. Even the guards comment on how they didn't restrain him. There's no consistency here. And it had to have been a deliberate choice to give him this oatmeal-like personality, because just like other From Software games, almost every character is fleshed out at least a little. Genichiro is one of my all-time favorite game antagonists. His corruption stands out from the other characters because it isn't this gluttonous act. He's doing it to save his dying country. There's reason behind his actions, and it's a shame that the main character pales so much in comparison. I like this story a lot. It's simple and clean, with a twist that is fucking metal, even though it isn't foreshadowed quite the best. But of the 3 potentially canon endings, 2 are very dependent on the emotional bond between Kuro and Wolf, and because of that, they, along with the rest of the story, are kneecapped by this lack of a main character. If Kuro and Wolf's relationship had more development and Wolf had a bit more emotion, these endings would be real tearjerkers. It just makes the story feel so lackluster, especially because whether this hunk and his team realized it or not, trying to make a compelling story about a grown man doing shit for a child that stands out from the rest is a ballsy move. It would have been so easy to add their development to this story. You could have another bell that takes you to some pivotal day where the two bond. Or those remnants that are used to develop Kuro could have also been at Harada Estate. There's even a secret door that leads to a perfect spot where you could have a remnant of them playing shogi or something. This whole area is supposed to be about him regaining his memories, and they completely missed this opportunity. There's all of these items and Easter eggs you can get that give backstory and connections between these lesser characters, yet there's nothing that adds to the relationship of the two people that's at the center of the entire story. This doesn't ruin the game or anything, I still give it an A+ because everything else about the game is masterful. But if it had a better main character who could help strike more emotion within the player to go along with everything else the game has going for it, it would truly be a masterpiece. But even the hottest, coolest bad boy in the video game industry isn't perfect. And From Software obviously knows how to make good characters, so I really hope that they, along with George R.R. Martin, try again with Elden Ring, but actually give the main character some real development and some meaningful dialogue.
Hey, look, man, I'm heavy. I don't move too fast. You better stop treating me like a bitch.